Welcome to Set Point with Steve Perry, and I am your host, Steve Perry. I'm the Senior Associate Dean in the Robertson School of Government at Regent University, and today I have with me Dr. Anthony Harper. He's a former student at Regent University, but more than that, he's the editor of the Intermountain Christian News, and he is a White House press corps correspondent. And so I wanted to talk with him a little bit, interview him a little bit. And so, first of all, Dr. Harper, thank you for being with us today.
Well, it's great to join you, Dr. Perry, and this is quite a day at the White House.
So, Jewish Lives Matter is something that some people have picked up on, and you've certainly asked some questions as part of the White House press corps dealing with concerns of the Jewish people. So, tell us a little bit about what types of things you have wanted to have answers from the White House about.
Well, one of the questions that I have is about President Biden and his response to members of Congress that issue and make anti-Semitic statements. There was a CNN article that I read about that issue about members of Congress anti-Semitic statements, but also, as you mentioned, Jewish Lives Matter is, I believe, a call nationwide to the importance of Jewish lives, especially with the rise of anti-Semitism in Gaza recently. Rockets are flying again, and there's no permanent solution that humans can come up with so far. And of course, withdrawing from Gaza has made it more peaceful, but this is a very troublesome issue with the rise of anti-Semitism. For those that bless Israel, this is Genesis 12:3 that says, for those that bless, there will be blessing. For those that curse, there will be cursing. And I see very clearly even a rise of anti-Semitic behavior in this administration, in a sense of being willing to be having a conversation with Iran and providing any type of support with Iran, and not to mention also the refunding again of the anti-Semitic UN agency Unra, as well as the BDS, which is boycott, divestment, and sanctions of Israeli products, and that Jewish cemetery desecration in Vilnius, Lithuania. That there isn't any statement from the White House, any strong statement on that. And we've also heard about the Palestinian Authority, and they have a pay-for-slave program that people are rewarded, family members are rewarded for their children killing Jews.
And I believe some of that funding comes through a UN program for Palestinian refugees. It's called Unra, this is what it's known by. And you have asked questions about that program and whether the U.S. should fund it in the past.
Right. Yeah, and President Trump actually defunded that UN agency, UNRWA, which stands for United Nations Relief Work Agency, initially a humanitarian agency, but quickly became a propaganda agency with their education of the children, their textbooks, not recognizing this land of being Israel, but really referred to Palestine. And as you've heard, and probably many have heard, Israel referred to as the occupier. So with that type of mentality, as long as they think that Israel's the occupier and it's not their land, then this behavior continues.
I know I've seen, standing on a street corner here in Norfolk, Virginia, I saw the other day a set of people with signs up, basically pro-Palestinian lives matter, right? Which they do, absolutely.
Right.
But I believe educated through some of these programs you're talking about, where they've been led to believe falsely that they have a right to go back into Israel because Israelis have no right there and they have no history there. And it's a false narrative that they've been presented through that program. Let me ask you a little more about, just your access there at the White House. So I just heard this morning on the news that it had come out that Joe Biden gets a list of names of reporters that he's allowed to call on, or that he's advised to call on at some of the White House press conferences, reporters that they think will ask the right questions, I guess. Tell us a little bit about your ability to get access through the press secretary or to the president himself.
Well, now there's been a change here at the White House, Dr. Perry, in light of the COVID-19 rules. with 100% capacity here at the White House open up to. Now I can attend the White House press briefings, although there isn't a press briefing today, but expected to be one tomorrow. I hope to have those opportunities. I pray for those opportunities to ask these challenging questions. And you're correct. You know, this administration does tend to prefer taking questions from those that would not be too challenging in their questions, although we have had from time to time Fox News reporters ask some challenging questions. But I would say, you know, Dr. Perry, that my questions are even more challenging because it deals with details of anti-Semitism that is happening in our administration, in our Congress, and not to mention also some veteran issues in light of this COVID vaccine. I do have press access to go up to Press Secretary Jennifer Psaki's office, and I've met with her several times at her office face to face, bringing up the important questions that we have as Christians regarding Israel.
Well, I'm glad to hear that there's some opening up post-COVID here, but you know, I do hope that you are able to actually get to ask questions. Now, under the Trump administration, did they also control which people asked questions in a similar way?
Well, I didn't notice that much of a difference. I mean, actually, you know, during the pre-COVID-19 days, anyone could be in that press room, and several miracles have happened for me being called on, but I have to take someone else's seat. These seats are assigned to other news agencies, and my name isn't engraved, or our news agency isn't engraved on any of those seats. So I just have to take a seat that is empty and pray that no one shows up. And by the way, miracles have happened when I have done that. God has arranged for me to be able to ask some challenging questions about Unra and some others, some spiritually based questions. And even though they make people uncomfortable, they need to be asked. So I appreciate Christians praying for me here at the White House to make a difference and all the support that is needed to report truth here.
Well, we're so excited about the fact that you are continually pressing on questions of religious freedom for both Christians and Jews there in Washington, D.C. One thing I've only seen a headline today. I don't know if you've caught anything about this, but I read that the SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, had a unanimous decision about Catholic charities. I don't know if that's something you've seen anything about, or have you heard anything at the White House about that?
Well, I haven't heard anyone here report about that, but I did see this news break today about that unanimous decision of the Supreme Court. Really big victory for religious liberty, especially it's referring to that Catholic charity in Philadelphia, I believe, and the right of this Catholic charity to be able to, you know, with their religious freedom to find good foster care or adoption for, you know, families and children. So it's an important victory, and I think this should be very, I think, encouraging to a lot of other Christian charities around our nation.
Yes, I agree. And I'm very encouraged by the unanimous decision, just because we hear so much about potentially packing the court, and you can't pack a court if the unanimous decisions come out. That won't do anything to stop religious liberty. So that's a praise, and I'm very happy to have seen that come out today. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you talking to us there from the White House in Washington, D.C. And thank you. This is Set Point with Steve Perry. Have a great day.